Welcome to Sammy C. Press. This is episode 1 of Make It a Movie Night. First up is musicals. One of our absolute favorites is The Happiest Millionaire. It is loosely based on a book, My Philadelphia Father. It is also based on a true story of a Philadelphia millionaire named Anthony Drexel Biddle. The movie has pet alligators, a Bible boxing school, and a delightfully eccentric millionaire. It is truly unpredictable and sure to bring many laughs and smiles. Next up is Singing in the Rain. This musical was done in 1952 with an all-star cast of Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, and Donald O'Connor. In 1989, Singing in the Rain was one of the first 25 films selected by the United States Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry. In 2005, the British Film Institute included in a list of the 50 films that should be seen by the age of 14. Next up is Guys and Dolls. This show premiered on Broadway in 1950, where it ran for 1,200 performances and won the Tony Award for Best Musical. We watched the version with Marlon Brando and adored it. Next up is The Sound of Music. This is a 1965 American musical drama starring Julie Andrews. She is so beautiful and uplifting in the film, you will be sure to sing along with her. The musical is based on the 1949 memoir, The Story of the Trapp Family Singers, by Maria von Trapp. It is a fictional retelling of her experiences as a governess to 7 children, and her eventual marriage to their father, Captain George von Trapp. In 1998, the American Film Institute listed The Sound of Music as the 4th greatest film musical. In 2001, the United States Library of Congress selected this film for preservation in the National Film Registry. Next up, we have The Music Man. This traveling con artist, Harold Hill, targets a native residents in a small town in 1910s, Iowa, by posing as a boys' band leader to raise money before he can skip town. In 1957, the show became a hit on Broadway, winning 5 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, and running for 1,375 performances. The next up is one that is dear to my heart, Muppets Treasure Island. It was released in 1996. This has been one of my favorites since I was younger, and I was able to share it with Sammy C. number 2 and 3, who love it as well. It was adapted from the 1883 novel Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Tim Curry does an amazing job as Long John Silver. The next up is Newsies. This is also one of my all-time favorites. Newsies is a 1992 American historical musical drama. It is loosely based on the New York City newsboys' strike in 1899. 17-year-old Christian Bale sings and dances as lead paperboy Jack Kelly. It is mind-blowing to me that this film was a mega flop at the box office, making a measly $2.8 million with a budget of $15 million. But once released on VHS, things changed. Later, Newsies became a Broadway musical. The stage musical won 2 Tony Awards, including Best Original Score. The next up is The Greatest Showman. This is an American biographical musical drama film that was released in 2017. The film is a heavily fictionalized depiction of the life of P.T. Barnum, a showman and entertainer, and his creation of the Barnum and Bailey Circus and the lives of the star attractions. Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron are amazing together. The cast is perfect. We have the soundtrack on our music playlist, and we even watched it back to back because we loved it that much. The next up is Annie. Annie is an American musical comedy drama film from 1982, which is based on the 1977 Broadway musical with the same name. There have been several adaptations of the musical. Did you know that Annie the Musical was based on the Little Orphan Annie comic strip created by Harold Gray? Next up, we have Hairspray. It was released in 2007. Tracy Turnblad teaches 1962 Baltimore a thing or two about integration after landing a spot on a local TV dance show. It has an all-star cast. Hairspray went on to become the 10th highest grossing musical film in the U.S. cinema history, behind the film adaptations of Grease, Chicago, and Mamma Mia. That is, Hairspray stands as one of the most critically and commercially successful musical films in the 2000s. Next up, we have West Side Story. The original was done in 1961. West Side Story was inspired by William Shakespeare, his play of Romeo and Juliet. The story is set in the mid-1950s in the Upper West Side of Manhattan in New York City. Then, a multiracial, blue-collar neighborhood. We see the rivalry between the Sharks and the Jets. The next up is High School Musicals. The first one was done in 2006. These are fun for the kids. The next one is The King and I. The one we enjoyed was done in 1956. I do not know how I almost forgot to include this one. This one was one of our favorites. You'll love Yul Brynner and Debbie Kerr. This is by no means an exhaustive list. These are just a few of our favorites. We also have others, but we didn't want the video to be overly long. There are many other treasures to find out there. So happy hunting! Until next time.